Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we're back in War Thunder looking at another devblog for two helicopters which are both going to be coming to the French nation in update 1.87. Yes, yesterday on the War Thunder social medias it was teased, I suppose, that we were going to get some Gazelles. The picture that they used really giving off the iconic girth of the engine behind the prop blades at the back here. And pretty much it was obvious that it was going to be a Gazelle. The only question was it going to be British Gazelles? Was it going to be French Gazelles? Which ones were they going to go for? Well, it seems like they've gone full French. The SA.341F and the SA.342M are going to be coming to the tree in update 1.87, and this means that, we're going to get a French helicopter tree. I'm very happy to see this. As I've said many times, one of the issues in War Thunder right now is the disparity between nations when it comes to what is available for them. And the reason why this is an issue is because why would I want to play another nation if I can play this one over here that has access to all of the different mechanics and interesting stuff in the game? You've got to make sure that every nation is at least on an equal playing field when it comes to mechanics, and these helicopters coming to the French tree lessens the gap between the French tech tree and the American tech tree, since the American tech tree at this moment in time has the most interesting varied mechanics in it. So, let's talk about the Gazelles, let's talk about what's in store when it comes to the French aircraft, and also on top of this, there is of course a pre-order pack as well, which will come along with it, because of course there will. With a new tech tree coming to the game, there is always a tech tree premium to get involved, so we'll have a look at that. I'll go through the cost analysis for you, and make sure to know if it's worth your money or not, since I don't like telling people what to do with their money, but I'll give them a cost breakdown instead. So, what is the story behind the Gazelle? Well, the Gazelle itself, the series of helicopters, it was pretty much, brought about because the Alouette II needed a replacement, so a bunch of different designs were used, and this one came out on top. They created the prototype of the Gazelle, then they created the initial production version of the Gazelle, which went to the French army, and then a bunch of other Gazelles were built by Westland in the... Westland? That's not right, is it? Or is it Wayland? Sorry. My brain definitely hasn't kicked into gear yet when it comes to it. Oh, god damn it. Where are you at? There we go. British Westland. It was Westland. I was thinking Wayland for some reason. But yes, basically Westland took up the idea of building them as well for the British. So this Gazelle, even though different variants, the different variants were either used by the French army or the British army. The two that we're getting in the game were exclusively used by the French army, and the way to work that out is pretty much the weaponry that they have. The crown jewel of the second Gazelle, the SA.342M that we're getting, are the Mistral Missiles. The Mistral Missiles were only used by the French ones. They were tested on a British Gazelle, but that was it. And you can tell where the Mistral Missiles are, basically because of their shape. You can see them right here on this design. So let's go through each of the helicopters, what they're about, and all of this. The best way for me to describe these is to compare them to the German helicopters you have in game. So if you look at the American helicopters, you've basically got the UHs and the AHs, the attack helicopters and the utility helicopters, and the attack helicopters are really the way to go, right? When we look at the Soviet helicopters, a lot of them are very heavy, very well armed, very much more designed as that multi-purpose role, but with a lot of firepower and armor behind them. When we look at the German helicopters in the game, they're very much nimble, not a ton of weaponry compared to their counterparts, but still definitely good enough. And one thing that is lacking immensely on these German helicopters is their defense. Well, the Gazelle is kind of the same. The first version of the Gazelle, which you can see on this side, which is the SA.341F, does get access to a 20mm gun, which you can see in this picture here. It's very much a long-barreled, and this would be used, obviously, in-game, again, for defensive purposes, to be able to kill aircraft, other helicopters that are going down. But when we get to the second version of the Gazelle that we're getting into game, the the 342M, this does not have the 20mm and much more favors anti-tank missiles and also AA missiles as well. So as you can see, the first one mounts a 20mm Giat M621 cannon, which can be found on the right side of the fuselage. And what is interesting about the Gazelle actually is if you look on it, one of the things that is pretty standard in the game right now when it comes to helicopters is you kind of have the same types of armament on both sides of your, well, I suppose you call them hard points, you know, when it comes to the vehicle. So if you have a set of rockets on the right side of your helicopter, you'll normally have a set of rockets on the left side of your helicopter. There aren't many instances where you have an unbalance of armament on each side of the cockpit. Well, with the Gazelles, the way that they're designed is on one side you generally have some form of defensive measure, and then on the left side you have some form of aggressive measure when we're talking about in-game. So with the first one, on the right side, you have the 20mm, and then on the other side, you basically have rockets, or you have something like that. You can see the rocket tubes which are sat here. And then if we look at the other model, on the right side, once again, a defensive measure, AAM missiles, anti-air missiles, and then on the other side, you can see that you have either ATGMs or rockets or anything like that. So now we went yesterday into a bunch of different stuff that these things can carry. Basically, the three main things are the anti-air missiles, they can carry hot missiles, they can also carry other styles of ATGMs, and they can also carry rocket salvos, as you see. So very similar to what we're seeing from the other helicopters in the game. So from that point of view, seems very standard. The main thing that you're wanting in helicopters, at least when it comes to the ground realistic format, is you want ATGMs. ATGMs are kind of the kill or no kill parts of helicopters. If you don't have them, it's very hard to do well in helicopters, and we see that the helicopters that do the best, such as the H1Z and then the Mi-35M, are the ones which have the most ATGMs. These ones can affect the battle a lot more than other helicopters around the place, so therefore having them is kind of key now for your helicopter to be successful. So the question is, will both versions of these helicopters get access to ATGMs, and which ones will they get access to? Because technically both could carry ATGMs. I believe only the second version could not carry the second version does not have access to the 20mm, and the first version does not get access to the anti-air missiles. I believe that's how they're doing it. Also, the SA.342M has a bigger engine, 870 horsepower, so it should have a bit more power going around the place. But understand that these helicopters are not designed to be beefy. These are not designed as, attack helicopters. These are utility helicopters, which are being much more used to be attack helicopters as a secondary. Generally, if you look at the history of the Gazelles, a lot of the stuff they were designed to do was search and rescue, transport and things like that. Supporting and killing when it came to tanks and stuff was definitely a secondary goal. Even though it was quite a major secondary goal, it was still a secondary one, so you've got to remember that. Now, another thing to also think is when they announced the Gazelle, I thought it would be a core of the French helicopter line. When we look at the American one, the core is the AH, right? Then if we look at the Soviets, the core is the Mi-24. Then if we look at the core of the Germans, it's pretty much like the Alouette series. Now with the French have a ton of different helicopters they can pick from. They are actually one of the nations out there which has a lot of variation when it comes to their helicopters. So it is nice to see that only 2 of these are being added out of maybe the 5 or 6 that we're going to see, because instead of just having, 3 or 4 versions of the same helicopter, we may actually see some variation. One of my problems with helicopters in general when it comes to the game is they all feel very much the same. The only thing I'm really looking at is what secondary armaments do they have, which ones are better than the others. When it comes to flight characteristics, when it comes to how much damage they can take, it's all incredibly similar. So more types of helicopters for me is definitely a plus, especially when trying to grind through specific trees. So when it comes to the French, it looks like We're getting 2 of these wonderful Gazelle machines. Now let's get on to the pre-order package, which is going to be available for them. You can actually find it at the bottom of the article here. I'll make sure that all of these are in, all of these links are in the description below for you to have a look at. So we have 2 packs. You've got the IAR-316B pack, and then the AMX-30 and IAR-31B pre-order bundle. So the 316B pack is for my god, for this aircraft, well, I suppose it is an aircraft, for this helicopter here. And may I just say, what an ugly aircraft this is. Talk about being built for functionality. This looks like we went to a scrap heap and we found all the parts that we could and put them together. Look at this tail. Like, what is going on here? Then we've got this wonderful wheel structure here. We've got this one in the front. This really does look like it's straight out of Scrap Heap Challenge. So let's talk about what this is. So this is going to be the French premium helicopter, rank 5 of the helicopter tree, and it is the IAR-316B. It's a Romanian-built French licensed aircraft. It was a licensed production of the SA.341F Alouette III. So this is a Romanian-built SA.316B Alouette III. The designation overall being the IAR-316B. So we could actually see one very similar to this in the tech tree, and that is something that we've seen a lot with helicopters, where we have a premium which is very similar to the one in the tech tree, but it's not exactly the same. It has slight differences. So what armament does this thing have? Well, it has 6 ATGM Malyutkas, 2 7.62mm machine guns, and 32 unguided 57mm rockets, LPR-57s, which I'm guessing are AP rockets. And the weird thing is that it seems to be able to carry everything at once, which is wonderful. That is something which I am incredibly happy about. It means that you don't have to kind of mix and match. You can pretty much just take what you want, and whatever situation you find yourself in, you have the versatility to be able to deal with it. One thing that I definitely hone in from this helicopter is this is another one of those utility helicopters which has been pushed together to be used in a military way. You can tell that this was built with utility in mind and not attacking in mind. So this is going to get beaten out by the helicopters which were designed with just attacking in the way, but it still should be pretty useful, as a grinder. And with these utility helicopters, with the way that the helicopter game mode actually works in game, you actually kind of want some of that utility. Since a lot of the game mode is not about helicopter on helicopter, there's a lot of it which also includes a lot of killing bases and killing ground targets. So for me, a mixture when it comes to grinding is what you want, not just an out-and-out killer. So, let's talk about this thing and the price. This is $34.99 US, and what you get along with it is 2,000 Golden Eagles, premium account for 15 days. You also get pre-order bonuses, so if you purchase it now before update 1.87, you get these on top of it. So you get a tricolor camouflage and a unique Skylark title. So you get a title and a camo. For me, it would be nice if there's a bit more to the pre-order bonus, maybe some more GE or premium account to entice people a little bit more, but to be honest, it's still good because it's rare stuff, right? And that's generally what you want from pre-order bonuses. It's also not selling power, so overall that's grand. And also comparing this helicopter to these ones, I think it is safe to say that these are looking a hell of a lot better when it comes to their usefulness compared to this. So it will be very hard to say that this is a pay-to-win machine. Anyway, so $34.99. I've done the calculations. So we start off with just the 2,000 Golden Eagles in the premium account. If you actually go to the store, you can see the general rates that you can find for Golden Eagles and premium account right here. So you can work out, the actual prices of how much you get in this pack. And if you find out, it's 5 plus 10. So that equals 15. Therefore, it is 35 minus 20. So this helicopter just in this pack itself is $20. That's the way to see it. So is this worth $20 to you with all the stuff on top of it? In my opinion, if I was going to buy it, the answer would be no, just because I don't particularly enjoy helicopter stuff, But if it comes out that there are a lot of different helicopters in the French tree, which are significant and are unique compared to the two Gazelles, yes, I would definitely consider it, and I would definitely buy it. On top of this, that's the wrong thing, let's go to the other pack. So right now, this is 30% off, and it is a pre-order bundle. This basically means that this will go away after update 1.87 comes down. So you get the AMX 30 pack in this, and you also get the IAR316B pack at a percentage discount of 30%. The AMX 30 tank is a really good tank. The only issue with it is the fact that it doesn't have the 20mm coaxial that the standard Tech Tree one has. But if you're... Wow, that is a picture. If you're if you're looking for a vehicle to grind yourself through the tree, this is a good vehicle. It has a great heat shell, has good maneuverability, has very trolley armor, I think is the best way of putting it. The only thing, as I said, that is worse on this compared to the Tech Tree one is the 20mm, and that definitely, the 20mm definitely helps against a lot of lighter targets that are running around right now, but to be quite honest, it's not a huge deal. It's good against aircraft as well, though, but if you grind this out, then you can have a good secondary to the AMX 30 that you have in the tree. Personally, I like the vehicle. I think it's pretty nice, and it seems to hold up well at its BR, even though it just got up-tiered to 7.7. Now, let's talk about the prices. So overall, this is $54.59, rounded up to $60. But if you add in the premium account 15 days, 2000 GE that you get in both packs, disregarding the cost of whatever the tricolor camouflage or the title is, for me, they are negligible, therefore they don't get counted in. So therefore, the overall price of the 15 days and the 2000 GE are $30. So for both vehicles, both vehicles together are $29.49. Each vehicle is worth $14.75. So you're pretty much going down $5 if you buy both these packs together in the discount. So if I was going to buy something, I would get this pack here. Just because of the fact that it is cheaper once you break it down, and also you get, well, just more stuff. And both of these vehicles will be useful. I don't think the IAR316B will be amazing, but it will be useful. And the AMX 30 is a great tank for its BR. And with the repair cost changes, you're going to need something which is going to be a little bit less on the actual wallet when it comes to Silver Lions than the other machines. Anyway, I'm very glad to see these. Hopefully soon we will see more helicopters for more nations now that this is the fourth nation in the game which is getting helicopters. Thank you, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.